Alright, everyone, I need you to stop what you're doing, put down your coffee, and silence your notifications. Because the story I'm about to unravel for you is a Shakespearean tragedy, wrapped in a modern-day meme, a tale of how one of the most wholesome rock bands on the planet accidentally ignited a corporate scandal that would implode a billion-dollar empire. This isn't just gossip. This is a story about power, hypocrisy, and the terrifying new reality of public life in the 21st century. It's a story that begins with the soaring choruses of Coldplay and ends in the silent, sterile world of a corporate boardroom crisis. It features a billionaire tech CEO, his head of human resources, and one of the most famous musicians in the world, Chris freaking Martin. Yes, that Chris Martin, the man who sings about fixing you, who consciously uncoupled, a man so seemingly pure that drama seems to bounce right off him. Well, not this time. This time, he was the unwitting catalyst. We are about to break down how a single camera on a jumbotron, one off-the-cuff comment, and a few seconds of footage led to a global humiliation, a potential corporate ousting, and a billionaire CEO, allegedly, picking a fight with the lead singer of Coldplay. I promise you, with every layer we peel back, it only gets wilder, messier, and more unbelievable. So, do yourself a favor, hit that like button, click subscribe, and buckle up. We're diving deep into the day the music died for one CEO. Let's set the scene, because context is everything. Imagine it. You are Andy Byron. You're not just successful, you are the blueprint of modern tech royalty. Founder and CEO of Astronomer, a high-powered data orchestration company valued at over $1 billion. You are a titan of industry, a visionary who speaks in jargon about cloud-native solutions and data lineage. You live in a world of glass-walled offices, high-stakes, board meetings, and shareholder reports. Tonight, however, you're escaping that world. You're at a Coldplay concert. It's more than just a concert. It's a sanctuary. It's a secular church where 60,000 people come together to feel a sense of unity, singing along to anthems of love, loss, and hope. The air is electric with positivity, and you're not alone. Beside you is Kristen Kitt. She's not just a colleague. She's the chief people officer at your company, the head of HR. Let's let that sink in. She is the literal guardian of corporate ethics, the shepherd of workplace conduct, the very person who designs the policies on professional relationships and conflicts of interest. And you are both married. Just not to each other. You've chosen your seats carefully, or so you think. You're up in the nosebleeds, a sea of anonymous faces, shrouded in the comfortable darkness of the upper deck. Up here, you're just two more fans. You're invisible, safe. What could possibly go wrong? Wrong so profoundly, catastrophically wrong. Every big concert has a camera crew, roaming the crowd, looking for moments to splash across the kissing, kids on their parents' shoulders, fans overcome with emotion. On this night, one camera operator, perhaps bored with the usual fare, pans across the upper tiers. And that's when they see it. A seemingly sweet, intimate moment. A man and a woman, huddled close. A picture of cozy affection. The director and the truck gives the signal. Get a close-up. And in that instant, the private world of Andy Byron and Kristen Kitt becomes brutally public. Their faces, magnified to the size of a city bus, are broadcast to the entire stadium and, via live stream, to the world. For a split second, they are oblivious. Then, they see themselves. You can watch the exact moment the realization hits. It's not a slow burn. It's a lightning strike. Their body language screams panic. They flinch apart as if they've been electrocuted. Their smiles vanish, replaced by the wide-eyed terror of two people whose lives have just derailed in high definition. The spotlight they thought they had escaped has become an interrogation lamp. And just when you think it can't get any worse, the voice of God himself, or at least the voice of Chris Martin, chimes in from the stage. Seeing the awkward recoil on the screen, and completely unaware of the domestic and corporate inferno he's about to pour gasoline on, he says with a chuckle, either they're having an affair, or they're just very, very shy. The crowd erupts in laughter. It's a lighthearted throwaway line. But for Andy Byron, that joke wasn't a joke. It was a verdict. And it was delivered by a global superstar, sentencing him to a lifetime of digital infamy. That single moment detonated online, like a nuclear bomb. The internet, as we know, is undefeated. Within hours, no minutes, the digital bloodhounds were off the leash. Reddit went into full CSI mode. Threads on subreddits like our videos and our public freakout became incident command centers. Screenshots were enhanced. Faces were The question was asked, wait, who are these people? Twitter, or X, became the rapid-fire court of public opinion. The clip went viral, captioned with things like, "Imagine getting caught cheating by Chris Martin himself." The sleuths got to work. Someone recognized the face. Isn't that the CEO of Astronomer? From there, it was a cascade. A quick search led to LinkedIn profiles. And there it was, in black and white. Andy Byron, CEO, and Kristen Kitt, Chief People Officer. The irony was so thick you could choke on it. The person literally in charge of policing workplace behavior, caught in a compromising position with her boss. The internet then did what it does best. It dug deeper. Wedding photos were unearthed. Old interviews where Andy talked about his family were reposted. And then, they found Andy's wife's Facebook profile. A relatively private account. A normal person living a normal life. Suddenly thousands of strangers, in a misguided attempt at public service, started tagging her in the video, commenting. Just in case you haven't seen this, it was an act of global, crowdsourced humiliation. Her response was quiet but deafening. She didn't post a statement. She didn't lash out. She simply removed Byron from her last name on her profile. A silent nuke. As for Kristen's husband, sources claim he found out the same way the rest of us did, by scrolling through his phone. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was a public spectacle. In the face of such a crisis, a swift, sincere apology is paramount. What the world got instead was a masterclass in what not to do. First, a letter began circulating online, allegedly penned by Andy himself. It was a work of art, a parody so perfect it was indistinguishable from reality. It was filled with tortured prose about a private moment being violated and heartfelt apologies to his family and company. And then, for the grand finale, the letter quoted Coldplay lyrics back at the world. It ended with the lines, "Lights will guide you home, and I will try to fix you." Bro, you did not. The internet collectively lost its mind. The audacity? Using the song of the band at the concert where you were caught cheating to apologize for cheating. It was a level of tone deafness that felt almost poetic. Of course, it was fake. A brilliant piece of satire crafted by an internet trickster. But the reason we all fell for it is because it felt so plausible. We could absolutely believe a self-important tech CEO would think that was a profound way to apologize. The real statement, when it finally came, was a serving of cold corporate word salad. The usual "I'm deeply sorry for my actions. I'm taking time to reflect." And the classic "please respect our privacy." It was a statement so devoid of genuine emotion, it might as well have been written by ChatGPT. Yawn. This is where the story pivots from mere embarrassment into something far more bizarre. Multiple sources, from tech industry insiders to entertainment journalists, began reporting the same thing. Andy Byron was furious, livid, experiencing a full-scale damage control meltdown. But his anger wasn't just directed at the camera operator, or the internet, or even himself. Allegedly, his primary target was Chris Martin. Word on the street is that Andy, or someone from his executive team, contacted Coldplay's management. The accusation that Chris Martin's comment transformed an awkward camera moment into a viral catastrophe. That his joke provided the narrative, the headline, that made the story irresistible. Some reports even claim Andy wanted a retraction, a public clarification. Let's just pause and appreciate the sheer delusion of that request. Can you imagine Chris Martin walking on stage the next night and saying, "Hey everyone, about that couple from last night. Turns out they were having an affair. My mistake. I'd like to formally retract my insinuation." It's insane. Things got even crazier when rumors of legal action started swirling. A Reddit user claiming to have inside knowledge said Andy's team sent a legal notice concerning the filming and broadcast. Now, there might be a legal argument there, if he weren't in a public stadium, at a ticketed event where every single ticket stub has fine print about being filmed. Surrounded by 60,000 people with iPhones, you cannot demand privacy while sitting next to your mistress at a globally streamed event. That's not how reality works. This anger is classic deflection. It's easier to blame the rock star who pointed the finger than to confront the fact that your own actions put you in the spotlight to begin with. Throughout all of this, Chris Martin maintained a dignified, pro-level silence. Not a tweet, not a statement, nothing. He understood what Andy didn't. You cannot win a fight with the internet. By saying nothing, he starved the fire of oxygen. He made a lighthearted joke that, through sheer cosmic bad luck, happened to be a heat-seeking missile aimed directly at Andy Byron's life. Chris doesn't owe anyone an apology here. If your biggest problem is that Coldplay accidentally exposed your affair, maybe your biggest problem is the affair. While Andy was allegedly feuding with rock stars, his own billion-dollar company was in a state of freefall. First, Kristen Kitt. Within 48 hours, she was a digital ghost. Her bio, her headshot, her entire existence was scrubbed from the Astronomer company website. Officially, she was placed on leave. Unofficially, her career at that company and, likely in any high-level HR role for the foreseeable future, was over. An internal investigation was immediately launched. They'd be looking into everything. Were company funds used for personal travel? Did this affair violate the very ethics policies she wrote? Did other executives know? And Andy, he remained CEO. For now, but the title was hollow. He became a lame duck leader overnight. Imagine the board meetings. Imagine the investor calls. How do you command respect when you are a walking, talking meme? How do you lecture your team on integrity when your own is in shreds? Insiders described a workplace paralyzed by gossip. Slack channels were on fire. The mockery was relentless. The comedy of the situation is just too rich. The head of HR, whose job is to prevent this exact scenario, becomes the star of it. You can't write this stuff. Imagine being an employee who sat through one of her mandatory workplace relationship training seminars last month, only to see her on the Jumbotron. You'd think it was a very strange, very meta part of the presentation. Andy Byron may have wanted to control the narrative, but he failed to understand a fundamental truth of our time. The internet never ever lets go. This scandal didn't just fade away, it became a cultural artifact. It's now a shorthand for public humiliation. There are remix videos of Chris Martin singing Fix You with the cheating clip playing on a loop. There are LinkedIn screenshots where users are commenting Coldplay lyrics under Andy's old job updates. There are parody TikToks reenacting the moment in the crowd. The phrase "getting caught by the Coldplay Jumbotron" is now a new way to describe being spectacularly exposed. The tweets were, and still are, savage. Cheated on his wife, exposed by a stadium, and now he's mad at Chris Martin like he's the side chick police. Plot twist, Chris Martin was never singing to the audience. He was singing directly to Andy's wife. You can't out-PR the internet. Your crisis team can't scrub memes. Your lawyers can't issue a takedown notice to the collective consciousness. Once it's out there, it is everywhere. Forever. So let's wrap this up by giving a standing ovation to the real MVP of this entire saga, the anonymous camera operator at that Coldplay concert. Think about the chain reaction from that one decision, that one Zoom, that person just doing their job triggered a multi-million-dollar PR disaster, a probable divorce, a corporate HR meltdown, a million memes, and a rumored feud between a tech bro and a pop star. They may not have known who they were filming, or may beyond, I'm just speculating. For the documentary, I would absolutely watch, maybe they did. Maybe it was a disgruntled former employee getting the ultimate petty revenge. Either way, we owe them. Without them, Andy Byron would still be a celebrated CEO, and the hypocrisy festering behind those glass walls would have remained hidden. There is something beautifully poetic about a company that deals in data, visibility, and orchestration being brought to its knees by a literal spotlight. It's as if the universe itself decided to serve a dish of piping hot, cosmic irony. Andy Byron thought he was safe in the darkness of the nosebleeds. Instead, he got a front row seat to the public execution of his own reputation. And Chris Martin, a singer of sad, beautiful songs, unintentionally wrote the soundtrack to a corporate catastrophe. So, what's the real moral here? Don't cheat is the obvious one. But it's deeper than that. It's a lesson about the absolute illusion of privacy in our hyper-connected world. It's a warning that your reputation is more fragile than ever. And it's a confirmation that sometimes the most devastating accountability comes not from a boardroom or a courtroom, but from the unblinking eye of a Jumbotron camera. So what do you think? Did Andy actually have the nerve to blame Coldplay? Should Chris Martin ever respond? And who is the ultimate villain of this story? The CEO? The HR chief? Or are they all just players in a comedy orchestrated by that legendary camera operator? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading all of them. Until next time, be good. And always, always assume the Jumbotron is watching.